Okay, welcome back, tabletop sports fans, to another video here. Tonight we're gonna do a little something shorter, special. I wanted to go over a couple things. I have an unboxing as well coming up here. So, over the years, I got to make acquaintance with several APBA Hall of Famers, and one of the nice things about this community, and I mean not just the APBA community, but what I see in all the other communities, is the generosity, the just the gentlemanliness of all the guys. How really just a bunch of class individuals, almost every single one I've ever come across and met. And one of the kind of like themes of over the years has been a lot of giving. So if you meet a guy, he maybe likes something, he'll be. It's not a surprise as first hear someone say, "Hey, give me your address. I'm going to mail you something. It'll be special." And it's kind of like a pay it forward attitude. And I kind of wanted. I was just thinking about these couple things I've gotten over the years from some Hall of Famers, some other guys, and it's pretty special. So I'm just, and actually I want to wrap this up with an unboxing. So. First thing actually I want to do is, there's a gentleman friend, he's been to the APBA conventions. His name is Jim Dudley, and we were talking about these cardboard shakers that APBA, with the tin bottom, that APBA used to have with their games. And I saw it at the convention. I said, man, I would really love to have one of those. That's like the piece of APBA history. It's got that tin. It's probably if you have family in the house, they probably would complain about that. My wife actually, it's funny because I have a whole bunch of different dice and different shakers and different things, and this is the only one that she complains about. And it's actually ironic because it's actually the original cardboard shaker. So Jim Dudley, at the convention said, "Hey, give me your address. I'll mail you one. I have some extras." Just out of the goodness of his heart. And I really appreciate that. That was a nice gift from Jim. Next thing I want to show off is this. This is actually the oldest items I have in my APBA collection. It's the It's a copy of the 1964 New York Giants. Now they weren't that good in '64, and I have out the. I use this for my old replays. If I'm doing anything between like 1960 to, I think the last year of this particular in this book is like 77. So it's a great book. It has all these pictures. But 64 Giants were not good. I'm going to actually read the passage about them, and we'll look at a couple players here. But this set was gifted to me by APBA Hall of Famer. His name's Pete Simonelli. It's actually, I don't know if it came from his collection or the Robert Henry collection, but he gifted this card set to me at one of the APBA conventions. So you can see it does have some names that are pretty, and these are amazing cards. I mean, they're very thick. I mean, it's amazing thickness to these APBA cards. It's the original football game. So let's. This 64 Giants write-up was short and not too flattering for the Giants. So let's see what the Sports Encyclopedia Nefton Cohen has to say about the 64 Giants. The New York dynasty crashed heavily to pieces this season. Coach Allie Sherman had traded off Sam Huff and Dick Mazoski during the offseason, hoping to fill their spots with younger men, but none of the replacements came close to the readiness of the two departed defenders. To add to Sherman's headaches, veterans Y.A. Tittle, Alex Webster, Frank Gifford, Del Schaffner, Jack Stroud, and Andy Robustelli all showed signs of advanced old age. Period. It's not a good write-up for a football team, but like I said, this set was gifted to me by Pete Simonelli. I've never played a game with it. I do have the old copy of the old board, but I just want to see that last Robitelli guy they were talking about. But it's fun to read those Nefton Cohens and go look at the boards and see what they say. So this is the old. So I set up a little. So you got Wyatt Tittle was a quarterback. He's got a 1 at 66, but the rest of his numbers aren't too good. He's got like a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Their backfield looked like it was Alex Webster, Steve Thurlow, Ernie Wheelwright. Looks like this is their receiving corps. This is their 4 top receiver guys. They had Del Schaffner, that was an old guy. Joe Morrison, he's an A. Aaron Thomas, he's an A. Doesn't look that bad. Frank Gifford, a lot of people know him. Frank Gifford, short A, long B. So interesting. He was their kicker and punter, Babe Chandler. And you got some of the return men. You have Dick James. He's looks like he returns punts, and then your main kick returner is Clarence Childs. All right, so interesting little set there. So it's nice to have a little piece of APBA history. Like I said, I've never even played a game with that. I mean, these cards are like very thick, and like it's like an APBA history piece. I keep in my collection. So all right, so moving along here. Next thing, now this did come from the Robert Henry collection. This is just a copy of the old APBA boards. It says Copper 86, so this would have came with, like, if you would have bought a basic game back in the 80s. This was a board. Robert Henry had a humongous collection, and Pete Simonelli, APBA Hall of Famer, he gifted this to me as well, along with that card set. He did. I know this did come from the Robert Henry collection. And Robert Henry, if you remember, if you ever read the APBA Journal over the years, he was the guy that had the Q&A in the back. Very interesting stuff. He knew all the card numbers, everybody's who had the home run power. It was really fun reading in that APBA Journal. And he would, people would ask questions, he would fire back, with the who had the best card numbers over the years. So it was a fun little article. He passed away. The APBA Hall, Group APBA, I don't know if they're all Hall of Famers, but they did get together to give him a proper gravestone. I know back whenever they found out he was actually, he died, no one knew who he was, and he was buried in like a potter's grave, but they actually were able to get him a proper burial. And that was actually, the APBA community pitched in to to pay for that, which was pretty amazing about these guys. Next item I want to show off is a gift from a good friend of mine. He's a APBA Hall of Famer. His name's Greg Wells. Greg I've known for many years. He's probably the greatest APBA mind out there, I should say. He's a very his wit, his intelligence is pretty amazing if you start talking to him. Very gregarious fellow. He's very, his charisma is through the roof. He's just a great guy to be around. And you'll see, you would know if you ever were around him, you just want to hang with him because he's so cool. And this APBA mind is amazing. So he actually gifted me this Apropro League football game. This is the original board, much like that original board. This is the original football board. It doesn't have a year on here, but I'm thinking this is a pretty old one because this is a really thick board. But Greg had saw I was playing with a flimsy paper board APBA was selling like in the 2000s. And he said, I got to get you a good board. So he mailed this to me, like I said, out of the goodness of his heart. So very nice. You want to get nostalgic. I mean, it's really high quality. It looks fantastic. So thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. That was years ago. He gave it to me. I very much appreciate it. This is another gift I got from a Hall of Famer, which is he's since passed away. At my very first APBA convention in 2005, this APBA Hall of Famer, his name was Don Adams. He actually came. He was there at the convention with his 2 sons. They were grown. They were in their 30s. And he had brought a bunch of stuff in a box. And I don't know if it was like paraphernalia, memorabilia. But in that box was this Top Sticker album. And this was from the 1980 season. You see Brett was on the cover. Pete Rose was there. He's with the Phillies on the cover. And this item was my most treasured item when I was a kid, when I was 10 years old. I actually had this album, and I don't think I filled in all the stickers, but something amazing about this album is Don Adams has this, and every single sticker is filled in perfectly, in every single team. And I remember this this bottom part. If any of you guys remember this, you had to put like $1 in a stamped envelope with your name and address in it, with a self-addressed stamped envelope, and they would send you like 10, and you actually would list the stickers. And this actually looks like me when I was a kid. You would list the 10 stickers that you're missing, and they would mail you the 10. You put a stamp in and tell you to go to the mailbox, and they send you the stickers. But this was my prized possession. So when I saw that Don had this, I said, "Hey Don, that was my prized possession when I was a kid." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's yours." I mean, out of the goodness of his heart, he just handed it to me. He's like, "You could keep it." And I mean, this is if you love the 80s season, it has everything. It has the leaders. I remember collecting these Brewers cards, like Cecil Cooper, batting leaders, Keith Hernandez. Like I said, everything's perfectly, every single page is filled out. You got the Red Sox there, Rick Burleson, Carney Lansford. I mean, I look like Rick Burleson. It's actually Carney Lansford. And the White Sox. And they have my favorite team. I remember getting all these expos. So it even tells, and this was fun too. They had like the foils were for the All-Stars. That was the big thing. So when I was in 4th, 5th grade, we would go to the candy store, the little grocery store in the area. We'd buy a bunch of packs of these, and we'd all fill in our stickers. And this 80s season is really, really special for me. So, and always a mystery, these Seattle Mariners, seeing these guys, because like if you're 1980 living in Pittsburgh, you don't ever see the Mariners play. It was just a mystery. And because you could never see them play, it was fascinating to follow them in the paper. You see, they weren't that good, but just the names, like the Tom Paciorek, Julio Cruz, just amazing stuff. And we'll wrap it up. We'll look at the look at this. This is the Expos page. I remember getting all these cards. This Gary Carter card looks awesome. Ellis Valentine was in there. Cannon arm. Great stuff. Great stuff here. New York Mets. Gifted to me by APBA Hall of Famer Don Adams. So I just want to share a couple things, I've been lucky enough to be on the recipient of, and that's what I try to do. I try to like pay it forward. If I have extra sets and different things, I try to just give it away, and hopefully someone gets enjoyment out of it. So let's put that away. So this 80 is going to lead into an unboxing here. This is going to be an authentic unboxing, as Kurt Berglund would say. This is about as authentic as it gets here. So we got something priority mail, and the hoarding continues. So let's open it up. Let's see what we got. This is let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got from Priority Mail. See if anybody can guess what we got here. So we know it's not APBA stuff. So I still have a bunch of APBA stuff that I still got to open, but this company had a sale this past weekend. And that company is Replay Games, and Pete Ventura, he always he puts a nice little handwritten message on all his things. Thanks, Jill. But great guy, great game. So let's see what we got from Replay Games. So how can I preface this? So like I said, that's 1980 season. It was very special. I've seen guys like Dave Gardner play this season, Replay. And they had this sale, so I want to take advantage of it. They don't normally have sales on their full card sets, but they did have a sale this past weekend. So what we got here is Replay games, 1980. Check it out. So they always have this nice book here. Goes with it. You have the leaders. They have little write-ups. I know some of these guys do these write-ups. Joe Rund, I've met him at a convention here recently. Dave Bach. I would like to see who wrote these things because I've met some of these guys in the past. Rick Zayler. These are all kind. John Lowe. He writes on the. He's on the replay forums quite often. John L. Nick Very. Nick Very. He's from around here. I think he lives not too far from me. But he's on the boards, Delphi forums often. Jeff Robinson wrote for Atlanta. Wow. I wonder if that's the Jeff Robinson, pitcher for the Pirates. Josh Nelson, Coasty Josh, he's on the boards a lot. You see him. Bob Corsari, wow, check it out, my friend Bob. Bob is he didn't make it to the last convention, but he's a great APBA guy. He's a big Steve Garvey fan, so I could just imagine writing this Los Angeles write-up, so very good. Randy Courier, friend of mine, he's another good guy. He's an APBA Hall of Famer, big Expos fan as well. So he wrote, looking forward to reading Randy Courier's Expos write-up here. Dave Jackson, Dave Pagano, another good dude. He's like the steward of the replay forum. He's the guy who runs all the co-ops. He's from Pittsburgh originally, and I've met him a couple times at the replay retreats here in Pittsburgh, kind of like a mini APBA convention, and great time. He met some of these replay guys. Jim Woods, Scott Aarons. They have the multi-team pitchers. The Phantom DH. What the heck is that? The DH listed in the starting lineup must bat at least once before being substituted unless there's injury. This rule was added. Wow, that's interesting. They had like the Phantom DH. So I barely remember hearing this. So this rule was added after the 80 season to close a loophole discovered by Orioles manager Earl Weaver. He would list one of his inactive starting pitchers in the starting lineup as a Phantom DH. And then, when his first time to bat came up, Weaver could decide which of a number of players to use as a pinch hitter for his DH, depending on the situation. For example, if there were men on base, if he needed a base runner, etc. Pitcher Steve Stone was used most often in this capacity. Box scores from that time would list the pitchers as having played a game at DH. But after the amendment to the rule was adopted, these appearances were erased from these pitchers' records. Very interesting. And Bill Blair, another APBA Hall of Famer, wrote this right up. So, very interesting. I barely heard of that, and that's really interesting. I didn't know that happened. And then the back of these little replay things, they always have like a little, like an ad of that popular area. So this was like the popular car, I guess the Van Agen from Volkswagen. Looks like the Scooby-Doo car. But like for example, the 90s Diamond Decade has like the Dodge Neon, and it's pretty neat stuff. So we got the ballpark cards. These are good. I always like to look at like Yankee Stadium to see with how they look. See Fenway. See where the big range is there. So 60, 10, 11s are going to be like the good home run chances. So let's see, it's 54, 62. Let's see when Yankee Stadium is here. Okay, so you could see for the lefties, it goes way down to 41. So 41 or higher is a really good home run chance. Very interesting stuff. Let's look at the Kansas City Royals. So remember these guys from the World Series. Willie Wilson with his 5-speed, 6 jump. Willie Aikens, he had a big World Series. I remember that in the fall. We were all playing wiffle ball and trying to pretend we were Willie Aikens. That fall, I remember it distinctly. UL Washington with his toothpick. 4-speed. Frank White. Hal McRae. 297. John Wathan. George Brett's 390 card and replay. So let's check this out. So he's got 2 11s there. That's are pretty powerful hit numbers. There's like 7s in APBA. 31. So he's going to really get a lot of doubles right there in that 31. That's 17, 19 are going to probably be hits. Let's see what else he has. So he has a really good 6 columns. So he's going to have like a double or homer there, double or homer there. Or actually, I'm sorry, single homer. Good home run chance there. Even on a 6-1 roll against a righty, so he's going to really torture righties big time. Because this 6-3 is going to either be an out versus lefties or like almost like a single or double versus righties. So George Brett's going to torture righties with this card. Daryl Porter, Amos Otis, Clint Hurdle, Dave Chalk, Pete Lecoq, Jamie Quirk, Jose Cardinal, Rusty Torres, Rance Mulliniks before he went to the Blue Jays, Manny Castillo, Harry Chappis,